Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mercy. I have a video today with an interview that I absolutely enjoyed doing. You know these people that you meet and then you're really glad you met them, and then you wonder why you didn't meet them 2, 3, 4, 5 years before? This is the kind of person that I met. So Pam is this lovely lady that I met. I have just come back from a retreat, and I interviewed her during the retreat. She had come. She was one of the participants at the retreat, and we got to talking about so many things. And this was one of the things that I really loved about her. I loved how well the interview went. Like it flowed so nicely. I hardly had to edit anything. I genuinely don't think I had to edit anything. Maybe just the beginning and the end, some outtakes. But that's it. And it was really lovely. It was so natural, so calm. She is very she knows what she's talking about. You know, the wisdom oozing out of this woman was just something that I genuinely feel that everybody needs to hear in their lifetime. So I hope that you enjoy the interview and come on, let's go. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mercy, and today I'm talking to Pamela. And Pamela lives in the UK, and she is from Zambia originally. And so I met her when we had our retreat, and it was co-sponsored with Phenomenal Women, as I have done a video about this, and with the introduction. We spoke with Lisa, who is my co-organizer for the retreat. And during this retreat, we were, meeting, discussing, talking with women about their different journeys, and Pamela's journey became quite interesting to me. So that's why we're having this conversation. So hi, Pamela.
Hello.
So tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and how you found yourself here.
Okay, I'm like you said, I'm from Zambia, and I've been meaning to come to one of these retreats for a long time. My very good friend, the organizer and the founder of this organization, Lisa Sekaja, we've been together, friends for a long time since primary school in Zambia. So this time it really hit home, wellness, and I think I was at a point where yes, I need a retreat. I need to get out and meet like-minded people, and I needed to explore and find out who I am basically. And yeah, no, so this time around I said no, I'm gonna come because I've always been meaning to attend one of these retreats, which I've never. Life happens, life takes over, so I've never really been able to attend. But this time I felt that urge. I needed to come and attend. So here I am, and it's been so good so far.
And so you live in the UK, you're from Zambia.
Yes,
How old
yes.
were you when you moved?
I moved. Oh, I was very young. I was in my teens. I came when I was just going into secondary school. I left primary school. I actually left Lisa in Zambia. I came just at the very beginning of secondary school to the UK. I was in my teens. Um, Grew up here. Went back much later when I was early 20s for a short period of time. Lived, worked, got married, then moved back to the UK, raised my family in the UK. So yeah, it's been one of those where I've
So
been
you're
there a long
somebody
time.
who's grown up pretty much in the UK. Most of your
Pretty much. My
growing up
family
was
is here
there.
as well. I've got family in Zambia.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're like, where do I belong?
Where
Where do
do
I
you
fit
belong?
in? Where am I? Because a lot of family here, a lot of family over there. But
Yeah.
when you go back, there's different, you have to try and fit in, so to speak, inverted commas, and try. Obviously, the culture is very different, but at the same time, you have to try and normalize everything that you know, that is very Western. But I guess we're becoming very Western as well back home. But at the same time, everybody's moved on. Everybody's doing their own thing. All your friends have moved on. They've got their own friendship circles and all of that. So it's just trying to figure out who you are, where do you belong, and yeah.
So I feel the same every time I go to Kenya because at this point I've lived in Europe longer than I lived in Kenya, and every time I go, it feels like the first 2 days, the first 2 3 days, I feel like I'm being reintroduced, and then it comes back.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I come back to Switzerland, I have to readjust, and sometimes it feels like you're not 100% anywhere.
Yes. Yes.
And I think both of us are parents, and now we are raising second generation immigrants, and so they're European, but then they're African, and there's something in between. And how has it been for you?
You know, it's one of those things where it's quite difficult, because at the end of the day they will make their own decision where they want to live, but at the same time I find it's your responsibility to kind of teach them and get them to know where they belong and where they come from and their roots, and so visits back home are always a must. We're always back home, and they get to meet and know their family, their cousins and their aunties and uncles and all of that. And similarly here, I've got a big family here, so they're still getting to know who, this side of the family is and all of that. So I guess they've got the best of both worlds, but at the same time it's difficult. I mean, some people would ask, where is it better to raise your children, here or Africa? It's like I said earlier, we have become very westernized back home as well. People, the way parents are raising their kids, sometimes I will even question that, because it's like, oh, okay,
you're even more strict than they are.
More stricter. And I think in terms of when my husband and I were involved, we're very involved in bringing up our children. We're not leaving it to the maids or the teachers or anything like that. We're fully invested in their education, their everyday lives, from the minute they wake up to the minute they go to bed. So you're fully invested in every single aspect of their growing up, and their emotions. We're fully attached, and you're fully connected with how they feel. Any small change, you will notice it and question it, and so you're fully invested in that aspect when it comes to taking them to extracurricular activities, or so that side of things I wouldn't change at all. And obviously the West comes with this opportunities. Your child's, depending on where they want to be, it's pretty much mapped out. If they want to be somebody and achieve something, it's there. As opposed to the other end, where you have to work extra hard and you have to have the income and all of that. I mean, you have to work extremely hard as a parent to afford that kind of lifestyle. But there's no pros or cons in either raising kids in either countries or either parts of the world. But I think I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything now, because I think as Africans we're becoming westernized, and possibly even too westernized in some respect, because the children, some of them are disrespectful, some of them are, they wear the shortest of shorts and all of that, which sometimes we will not
and we had the
tolerate.
Conversation about the overcorrection that we've done as millennial parents, where we really changed. We were like, okay, fine, our parents were this extreme, so now we are correcting it, and then we went to the other extreme.
Total extreme. So it's finding the right balance. It's trying to strike the right balance. Every generation, I guess, will be different going forward, but at the same time we have to just strike the right balance and what fits for you as a family, and making sure the children, you raise children who are respectful. They're respectful of everything, respectful of people, respectful of life, respectful of other people's resources and things. So it's just respect for children and children who will contribute positively to society. So
so one thing that we got to talking about, it seems to be your passion, and I think it's linked also to just how you're active in your children's lives. And if Zambia is anything like Kenya, when I go to Kenya, parents do not know their kids. Children are growing up because parents are busy working, and of course they have to work. They're so busy working, the children are being raised by their maids, and things happen, and all of a sudden your child is in university and your child is taking drugs, and you don't even know this.
Yes.
And by the time you're finding it out,
Yeah.
it's so late,
It's
and
late.
you don't know who to blame. You don't know where
Yeah.
to start. You don't know anything.
Yes.
And this is a passion of yours.
Yes,
So can you
definitely.
talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went into mental health for numerous reasons, but like I said earlier, I touched on, we are, as parents in the West, you're fully invested. You will know when a slight change happens in your child. If they've been out, you know who their friends are, who they're going out with. You know that side of things. You're not just out there 100% working, which most families have to work, but there'll always be somebody at home because childcare, let's get it, it's expensive, so there'll always be a parent at home, or there'll be somebody there with them. And regardless of that, you will always know where your child is at any given moment. So you will know who their friends are, you will know the influence, you will know what they're doing. But unfortunately, like you said, back home, yes, maids are raising, the children. You don't know the characteristics, when a child is, you come in, the child goes into their room or whatever it is, you don't see them, you don't know what's going on with them. The conversations, we don't have conversations at the dinner table anymore. The child has eaten or whatever it's, nobody's sitting down and finding out where the child needs to be, or but when it comes to usually you'll find the children are out there, they either fall in the wrong hands, meet wrong people, wrong crowd, and unfortunately the substance misuse has increased.
Yes.
Substantially back home. It's just totally increased. You've got children killing their parents just to fund their habits. Rehabs are not readily available. Children are actually abusing drugs, and they're easily available out there. Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, they're in schools. They're everywhere at the moment, and it just depends on how you raise your children, whether they're strong-willed. But regardless of that, they will have access, or they will know somebody who's doing this or selling this, and unfortunately, alcohol. I don't know, like in the West, it's sometimes, it's regulated unless somebody buys it for you, but you have to show ID, how old you are before you buy alcohol, and certain drugs are not as, they're pure, they're not mishmashed with certain things, but and they're not as strong. Substance misuse is huge, and people are becoming very addicted, and we don't have enough rehabs, unfortunately. And that's something I'm very passionate about, because some rehabs are there, but not they're expensive. Not the ordinary man cannot afford them. We cannot afford them. So we can't, instead of relying on the government all the time, this is something I am passionate about. Whether just partner with certain people, just have, if we can have rehabs in different parts of the country, up and down the country, because these are services that are required up and down the country, unfortunately. Mental health, substance misuse, rehab is something I'm very passionate about.
Something you're very passionate about, and you actually want to do something about it, and you're working on it.
Yes.
And when I talk to a lot of people who live in the diaspora, and they're thinking about relocating back home, when they're thinking about what they will do when they relocate back home, it's always what is going to be financially sustainable. And everybody's going into real estate, everybody's going into farming, everybody's going into something that is income generating. There are very few people that I meet who actually want to do something to change the community. So this, for me, it's really inspiring. It's actually made me think about, just even for myself, what am I, as a diasporian Kenyan, offering my people back home. So it's really motivating. It really is. And I wish you all the best in that.
Thank you.
So what would you say to somebody who says that, oh, come on, that's a pipe dream, it's not going to work. If it was that easy, somebody else would have already done it. There's always that person somewhere.
Yes, definitely. And it's not easy, and I'm sure, you have to, like still I'm looking at different people, different, you know, just to make this work, you can't do it alone. And unfortunately, we have this tendency as Africans of trying to do things on our own and trying to make things work. But you need a collective people to make things work and make the dream work. And this is something that is, it requires more than, it requires a varied amount of skills and, you know, and people getting together to make it work. And but it's doable. I wouldn't give up just because, you know, it's a pipe dream, and you know, when you go into something negatively, it doesn't work. So you know, it's just about meeting the right people and carrying that dream and vision forward. You know, it's definitely something I'm very passionate about, and it will work.
And so I'm glad that you came for the retreat, because during the
Yes.
retreat we learned quite a lot about that, and you were just
Definitely.
following up your dreams and accountability and all that.
Definitely.
So thank you so much. This was really, really nice. It was really lovely to hear from you. And if you have any parting words, any last things to say, what would it be? It can be about what you feel about wellness and health, what you feel about your project, what you feel about living away from home, anything you have as a parting word.
No, I think obviously when you're in the diaspora, home will always be home, but it's always good to try and do something positive. That social responsibility. When we're back home, we need to give back. I mean, I definitely, we go out there, we learn, we see. When it comes to mental health, unfortunately, I feel we are still 100 years behind. We still got a lot of catching up to do. As Africans, I've been fortunate enough to work in different sectors. At the moment, when it comes to the elderly, when an elderly has dementia, or they're a witch, they're stoned to death, or you know, we grow up with all these traumas. We think, you know, it's a normal thing. So trying to normalize everything.
Yes.
So anybody out there in the diaspora, if they've got any skills, it's about trying to rebuild and better who we are as a people. So any skills, anything you can think of and you think it can work, bring your careers forward and just go for it. Meet with like-minded people and just go for it. Sometimes it's acquiring the knowledge and not knowing who to be with or who to partner with, but just if you have a dream, a passion, just go for it and make it work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all right.